Good afternoon. My name is Javier Moreno. I am 37 years old. I am studying English level B1. Select the theme of violent video games should be banned. The reasons I chose this topic is because not all video games are bad. Next, the arguments for and the arguments against, in addition to my intervention on the subject. They improve the cognitive skills of minors, motivate to overcome challenges, enriches the ability of logic, deduction, and reasoning, stimulate children with optimal tools for their immersion in any type of activity. They enhance mental agility, decision making, and the ability to resolve conflicts, help increase reflexes, coordination, and confidence. Against. They are detrimental to homework and influence school failure. They influence children to leave their rooms less or that they lock themselves up directly. They may end up losing interest in other types of activities. They generate poor communication with parents and make the minor get used to not giving explanations and not expressing her emotions in their families. The child may experience daytime tiredness and sleepiness. During the day, he may not be able to tackle productive tasks due to a lack of focus and attention. They create problems to abide by the rules and limits established by parents. The games that are present in online format, increasingly parents have less information about how their children are entertained because they are no longer the ones who buy them. Personal opinion. I agree that knowledge is needed for everything, and the person who uses video games should at least know that a video game involves taking into account all the parts that make it up. It is a virtual or electronic game through which a person interacts thanks to a control with a device in which video images are broadcast. Video games allow interaction with other people within the game, also through the internet. Studies on how video games affect people are quite a few because they are among the largest and busiest industries in entertainment and art. Some video games are capable of influencing the behavior of individuals according to the dimension they acquire. Also, various studies have proven that there is no direct relationship between games and violence. This has not stopped the emergence of new norms that seek ways to blame or punish them. For many people, it is incomprehensible that a teenager or adult can sit in front of a screen for so long, motionless. They are questioned as a health hazard since they affirm their prolonged practice can lead to a sedentary lifestyle, make those who play violent and more consequences. However, a stronger group argue that it could cause brain damage, although there is no scientific evidence that has proven that theory. On the other hand, various studies and surveys have effectively concluded that those young people who make video games an activity in which they invest a considerable amount of time are prone to developing somewhat antisocial attitudes. This is due in part to the fact that they experience gambling, especially online. I conclude that each person can choose to spend some leisure time in the way that feels best. Sometimes you may choose to play sports, perhaps read a book, go to a concert, spend time with your family, or simply do nothing and rest. In this case, we are simply talking about one more way to pass the time, and for some it is a fun way, and for others it can be a waste of time. In the case of children and young people, the role of parents is fundamental regarding the control of what your children play. It is always important to establish certain rules. For example, play only after doing homework. This to avoid attachment to games that can sometimes cause a lack of interest in children. School or daily responsibilities. It can be affirmed that video games do not harm themselves, but it depends on the person who plays not to abuse that activity. The problem arises when it is abused and when it is not. In young people who go to school, have homework, it is logical that the time spent playing should represent a factor that does not influence the performance of their school life. And not only that, it can also affect your social life. A child who spends too much time playing may not be interested in sharing with his peers or her neighbors, and it is focused on wanting to socialize only through those virtual means. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope you like my contribution.